We are now going to install the two-piece cranks, and I'm going to have our team mechanic help me with this. So first, you need to grease the shaft a little bit. And then you're just gonna slide in, and you're gonna have to wiggle it a little bit.
We made sure we didn't push out the plastic dust cover.
And we'll get our other crank arm and have it completely opposite, 180 degrees. And just hit it onto there.
To make sure it's fully seated so there's no wiggle and movement of the chain and crank, we need to tighten up the tolerances. Just with your regular clockwise turning, and it pulls everything nice and tight to seat the cranks. What you need to be aware of is if it is tight and there's drag, that's going to take away energy from your riders because it doesn't spin freely. So we know we're seated, and we're going to back off this bolt that seated it. Give it a little tap. I now see there's a hair of an opening about the size of a business card or a little less of clearance. I'll now tighten this in. Did not change that tolerance. I can now clamp the crank arm tight on the shaft
with the 4mm Allen wrench.
Correct. Snug now. Spins freely. No drag on the rider. Now I can fully tighten. Once the bolt is seated snug, I just give a little 1/8 of a turn tight to seat it. I don't want to over tighten and tear the threads out.
So now that we've finished installing the two-piece cranks, we now need to install the pedals. So I have two types of pedals here. I have the flat pedal and the clip pedal. And to tell which pedal goes on which side, for the flat pedals, we have the R right on the top there, and for the left it says L. So that's easy to remember. And then the clip pedals, the left one always has this little cut in between in the middle there, because, well, the right one doesn't. So the left one has the cut, but the right one doesn't. So to install the flat pedals, you will need a pedal, a 15mm wrench, or the Park Tool PW-4 15mm. Okay. So first thing you want to do to install the pedal is put a little bit of grease on the thread, which I've already done. And then, so as I told you before, the left side of the bike's threads are always left-handed, so that means they tighten counterclockwise. And you're always going to want to thread it a little bit, seat the threads, and then just tighten it. And you always want to tighten. You always want to get the part all the way snug with your fingers until you can't do it anymore. Otherwise, because some people, they just put it in halfway and then they get their tool and they start tightening it and they get it crooked and then it gets stuck and the threads get cross-threaded. So now that I've gotten it as far as I can, I'm going to get my Park Tool PW4 and set it on the pedal. And just tighten. And now the pedal is tight and it won't come off. Next, we are going to install the right-sided pedal. So to install the right hand pedal, you're going to set it in the little hole of the crank and twist it clockwise with your fingers until it gets snug against the crank. And twist it until it's snug against the crank, or you can't get it anymore. And then again, I'm going to get my Park Tool PW-4 and get it onto the pedal tight. And that's that.